Well, I think on that note, I'm going to ask our final panellist to join us. So, Annetta, thank you if you wouldn't mind moving to the far seat.
Thanks.
And John Lelliot is going to join us, Finance Director of the Crown Estate. And again, wearing a different hat, embedded within the finance function. What does sustainability mean for your organisation?
Well, it's very important. It's critical. Sustainability has always been very important to the Crown Estate, but we had a confluence of circumstances which came together with the new Chief Executive around about 2.5 years ago, 2012. What we decided then was to, rather than have a separate sustainability strategy and a separate business strategy, we really felt that we would bring the two together and have one strategy, and then embed sustainability throughout the business, not have a business strategy of which sustainability was an element of it. So that was one of the main reasons. And what we've done since then is to look at the way in which sustainability is important to us, embedding it not only into our strategy but through our business planning process, and also cascading down to senior managers to make sure that it's in their personal scorecards, so that it's embedded and empowered across the organisation.
So just to be clear, was this something that, because there was a change in CEO, it allowed you to do this, or was it led by the CEO? I'm very interested in what drives the change, whether it's a key decision maker that sets a different tone, or which came first?
As I said, we always had sustainability. Yeah. It's always been part of the DNA of the Crown Estate. But the change of tone came from a new Chief Executive. And there was a confluence, as I said earlier, a confluence of circumstances which enabled us to really look at, we wanted to do our 10-year vision. And so in doing the 10-year vision, and as Steve has quite eloquently said, I think the business case for sustainability is there. So if the business case for sustainability is there, it needs to be embedded within the organisation in everything that we do. So that's the whole thing. And together with telling our story in a more consistent way, and how we delivered sustainability, because the organisation that we've come under a lot of sort of external scrutiny, and there was a need for, particularly stakeholders. We don't have investors, but well, we do have investors who invest in our joint ventures, but we don't. We're not a PLC, so we don't have analysts and investors in that respect. But there was a very clear message that we needed to have a consistent message to our stakeholder base, so that they understood what we did, how we did it, and how we created value, to use the integrated reporting.
So what's been the main change in your role? I mean, you've said that it was already there, but it's been driven in a different way. How has it really shaped the way you've been running the financial team?
It shaped that the finance team and the sustainability team work hand in glove. The sustainability team enable the business to operate, creating initiatives, looking at where the focuses are. What finance does is it brings, if you like, focus, discipline, framework, monetisation, and it helps all those things to be able to make the better case for sustainability issues, the very things that have been talked about, the initiatives that have been undertaken. And hand in glove with that, we went with integrated reporting, because integrated reporting is, I think, a further step that you can take in demonstrating how you create value and how sustainability is part of that.
So the board meetings that you now have, how have the discussions changed there around sustainability related issues? Is it just embedded in every single
It's embedded, and we have
item?
We have performance measures which are reported on a regular basis. We don't, for example, we looked at our governance framework, and whereas we used to have a sustainability committee, which were different individuals. We no longer have a sustainability committee. All those issues that were discussed in sustainability are now discussed when we're discussing business strategy, and all the areas which relate to the sustainability agenda, if you like, are discussed within that framework.
Well, again, that's an interesting development, because I'm aware of some businesses that have reinstated their sustainability committees more recently. Others have disbanded them. So I don't know if other members of the panellists have seen this shift. You know, are we seeing board appointments with a specific sustainability focus?
Well, we have not an actually main. Well, he's on the main board. We call him a councillor. So. Who is a specific sustainability focus. But actually, I'd go back to what Steve said earlier on. You've got to be careful in that when you use the word sustainability, people go, you know, and it's got to be done in business. It's got to be. Sustainability has got to have the business rationale. You know, a sustainable business and a commercial business, it's about business resilience. It's all about those things. And when you start talking sustainability, and I've heard it, people just glaze over. If it's part of business strategy and it's part of the normal way of business, of which there is an element of it. You know, we look at capital investment appraisals. Well, within all our capital appraisal, they have to take account of issues that relate to sustainability. So it's just embedding it in the core business processes of your organisation.